Good afternoon. Next slide, please. My name is Emily Stock, and I'm the project manager for volunteer initiatives, and I have the honor of co-leading the National Days of Service at AmeriCorps. The Martin Luther King Jr. National Day of Service is a defining moment each year when Americans across the country step up to make communities more equitable and take action to create the beloved community of Dr. King's dream. This year, we celebrate 30 years of MLK Day of Service and its impact as more Americans embrace the idea that citizenship involves taking an active role in improving communities. AmeriCorps remains committed to fulfilling Dr. King's dream of creating a beloved community. Every year, we show the nation that joining together in service can unify Americans of different backgrounds and experiences to transform their lives and the lives of others. This MLK Day of Service, join us in fostering a sense of constructive action, civic participation, and belonging by making it a day on, not a day off. Through service and volunteerism, we can build more equitable and just communities to underpin racial equity, expand civic opportunities, and foster respect for individuals today. Individual differences. On today's call, you'll hear from two of my colleagues who will be sharing information about storytelling for different purposes. This call is being recorded and will be posted to our website later next week. We will have a Q&A time at the end, but you can feel free to add your questions to the Q&A section throughout. So now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Evan.
Everyone, it's great to see you today. My name's Evan. I'm a public affairs specialist with the Office of Communications and Marketing at AmeriCorps. I handle social media and press, and that's going to be a lot of what I'm talking with you about today. So just to start off with the basics of how to get involved with the MLK Day of Service, visit mlkday.gov. You can find project ideas, register your project, and promote your project. I'm going to be helping you with the promoting your project part of this. You can go to the next slide. These are some of the key messages that we've been putting together. You'll be able to find some of these on one of the websites I'm going to be taking you to soon. Just to go through it really quickly, though, on the 30th anniversary of the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, AmeriCorps remains committed to fulfilling Dr. King's dream of creating a beloved community. We encourage Americans to volunteer to honor the life and legacy of Dr. King and improve their communities. And also, service has the power to bring communities together, help others, stand together against hate, build bridges, and heal divides. These are the key messages that we're wanting to hit on this year, and we encourage you to consider them when you are creating your marketing and promotional materials for your events. You can go to the next slide. So, this is your main website that you're going to be wanting to visit in order to promote your events, get all the resources that you need, and all the key messages and talking points that you need to promote your events. We want to make this as easy as possible for you. So we've done a lot of the legwork already. We've created template media advisories, press releases, blog posts, template emails. We've created graphics and logos. We've already drafted social media posts for you. All you got to do is go out, use them, and put them on your own platforms. We want to make this as easy as possible to generate as much interest and as much service as possible for this event. You can go to the next slide. So I'm going to get into this a little bit more. I'll show you the breakdown in a second, but this is how you use the social media posts that you can find on the link that I just dropped in the chat there. You can find all the social graphics and all the template copy at the link. Make sure to tag AmeriCorps and the King Center and to use the official hashtags. It helps us notice it, and it helps people who are wanting to get involved know where to look. If you're not using the proper hashtags, you're not tagging the right people, it can get lost. There's millions of posts on social media every day. Make sure it gets looped into the right circles online. Make sure to engage with our posts as well. That will help us notice you. That will help other people notice you also. And then make sure to follow us. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take over control really quickly, and I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the social press kit, which is the link that I put in the chat. So you're welcome to follow along with me. Just 1 second. Here we go. This is the social press kit. This has everything that you need in order to promote your events. We have tips for how to participate. We have quotes. We have information. We also have every mean. If you're confused about what to do, you're not sure what you're planning on doing, if it's going to be promoted correctly. If you want to make sure that we're aware of things, we have multiple different outlets for you to reach us over here on the right. We have press@AmeriCorps.gov. That goes to me if you're creating a press release and you really want us to be aware of it. If you manage to get a good piece of media, reach out to us at press@AmeriCorps.gov. If you have a social media post that you put out and you want us to be able to look at it or have questions about the posting guidelines, email us, socialmedia@AmeriCorps.gov. Also, engagement, report your successes, your events, things like that. Reach out to us there. And you'll hear from my colleague Shariar in a second if you have questions about elected leaders and how to get them involved in your projects. Government relations at AmeriCorps.gov. I'm going to scroll down here on this web page, and we have some tabs. So, first tab, social media shareables. This has social media posts for every platform. We have Facebook, and this has the link to some videos that we put together for you in order to draw engagement. You can take these, download them, put them on your social media posts, and use it to promote your event and engagement for the MLK Day of Service. Keep scrolling down. There's the same post for Twitter. We've already drafted it for you. If you're worried about, fitting the content into the character count, it's right there. It's already fits. Scroll down a little bit more. We've got Instagram, and we have 3 different posts for you of different sizes and different lengths. Really easy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how these little buttons at the bottom here work. So sure, you can copy and paste it. You can click here and you can download this video and use it like that, or you can go down here and click this post button. And it will pop open a tab. Just to confirm that y'all can see that. Can you see this tab open, Shayar, Emily?
Yep, you can see it.
Okay, so you go here and you can log in. You can see I'm already logged in as the AmeriCorps CEO, Michael Smith, and you click post. And that will put it up on your Twitter, just like that, easy peasy. Next thing, we're going to look at our communication resources. Like I said, we've already done a lot of the legwork. We put together templates for you to make this super easy. We put together press advisories, which you can send out to advertise an event that's going to happen to press, let them know. You can fill in the who, what, when, and where, and the press will know where they need to go if they want to see what you're up to. Press releases, we've got the template right here as well. The slight difference for those who may not know, difference between press advisory and a press release. General rule, press advisory goes before the event. Press release can be used as a recap of the event or to talk about a success or an announcement like that. Press advisory is mainly to advertise the event itself. We also have these blog and email templates, proclamations, and a whole event planning guide that can help you with recruitment. Next, we're going to go over here. We've got all the logos, MLK Day logos. These are the same videos and photos that you can find in the social media shareables tab, but they're really easy to download them from here, just a little bit easier. We're trying to remove all the stops for you. And then here we have our PSA video. This is useful. It's about 60 seconds long, and you can click here, opens it up on YouTube. You can use that, play that at your events, play that on your social media, whatever you need. And that's what we put together for you. This is your one-stop shop for social media, for presses, for press releases, everything that you could need. I'm going to stop sharing now, and we're going to go back to the slides. So, things to keep in mind when you are using the stuff that we've created, or if you want to use your own things. You want a good timeline. You want to post a few weeks out, the week of and the day of your event and opportunity, and the week after. If you are advertising your MLK Day event today and then never posting about it again, it's very unlikely that people will turn up. You want recency and consistency. That's how you get people to be interested in what you're doing. So we've got an example timeline right there for you. December 23rd through 30th, start talking about it, put out a couple of promotional content. January 6th through 10th, start putting out the details of your event so people know where they need to go so they can start planning their week. 13th through 17th, send out a reminder to register, particularly if you want to drive. If you're not getting that many signups, you want to do it a little bit closer. You'll get those people who plan their weeks a little bit shorter than other people may. And then, of course, January 20th, week after you, oh, sure. That link is mlkday.gov. And also, that's to register your event. And then also the social press kit, which we're talking about right now, can be found in the chat. Yeah, send out your thank yous and send out your photos and videos so people know what they missed out on, and then they'll come next year. We can go to the next slide. So earned media is a whole different it's a whole different beast than social media. Earned media is getting the press to talk about your event. If you're wondering, it's how to get them to talk about your event. Use the draft media advisory. Let them know when to show up and where to show up with their cameras. Let them know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and who will be there. If you end up getting if the director of your organization is going to be there, if you end up getting an elected official, that's particularly a strong draw for them to show up and report on it. You'll want to build a media list. Some people may have softwares for this, but other people, you just go to their websites. You think, oh, I want an environment reporter who reports my look up your local paper. Their email is almost certainly on the website. Shoot them an email, give them your advisory. One of the most important steps, sending the advisory, sending one email is never enough. Never enough. I can almost guarantee it. You have to do a little bit of legwork to get the media interested in what you're doing. So emailing them on through their main work email. If that doesn't work, see if you can find their phone number, give them a call, tell them to look at the email that you just sent them. Then you're more likely to get an answer, yes or no, at that point, and you can decide whether or not to continue pursuing them. If you don't get a response from them, maybe try a different reporter. Maybe try reaching out to them on other platforms like LinkedIn or Twitter to see if they're interested. Make sure to follow up via email and phone and other platforms to encourage them to attend. The day of, it's really smart to have one staffer, maybe one or two, depending on how much press you expect to be there, be the point of contact for media at the event. They're the person who's responsible for providing arrival instructions. And that way, you're not having to decide the day of who is going to be speaking to this person and answering the very important questions that they may have. It's best if you have somebody field them, guide them around, have them speak to who you would like them to speak to, rather than to have them roam around the event. It's great to have a point of contact signed up. And then post pictures and videos of the event on social media in real time. You may get lucky. Maybe a reporter follows you and decides to turn up. That's always really fun. And then, of course, make sure to do a recap afterwards. The afterwards from the events is almost as important as the work you do before the event. These people may hear about it and say, wow, that looks like it was a really cool thing that you did. Let me speak to you about it. I'm sorry I wasn't able to turn up that day. Particularly with the way that news cycles can be right now, they're very quick. Reporters are very busy. While they may not have time today, they may have time to talk to you about it the week after. And of course, thank you emails, they go a long, long way. And we can go to the next slide. Now, something that we're promoting again, that we at AmeriCorps are trying to do to help tell the story of AmeriCorps is we're revamping and revitalizing our stories page. So you go to AmeriCorps.gov/newsroom/stories. If you have any folks who are AmeriCorps volunteers or AmeriCorps members or people who have participated in the MLK Day of Service and you think that their story is worth telling, reach out to us, okay? Find a quality story of service, complete with photos. That's usually our preference, is because photos are really compelling and it's a lot easier for people to see what's going on and be able to picture themselves doing that same sort of work. Make sure to give us details, as many details as possible. And what you can do is you can submit through the story form. Um, I'm going to quickly share my screen one more time. And give you a quick run through of what our story page looks like. So you can go through here. If you're lucky enough to get your post featured, you will be able to scroll down here and find it right on our website. You'll be able to promote that on your own social media channels or link to it and share it with your communities. If you're wondering how to share the story, here's how you do it. You go right here, click Share My Story, and you'll be able to fill out this form saying who you are, what your relation to this person is, give them your name, especially link your organization and your organization website. Select your story topics. You can see we have the days of service story topic right here that'll flag for us to know how to include it. And then you just give us as much information as you can. I agree to the above terms and conditions. And then you fill out a caption and you hit submit. And then that will go to I'm going to hand back control really quick. That will go to our email and we will be able to take it from there, promote it on our website. If you have any questions, I welcome you to put them in the chat right now and see if anybody wants me to answer anything.
Thank you, Evan. I love the social press kit. It's so easy to use. So I appreciate the work that you guys have put into that.
Of course. Yeah, I hope it's I hope everybody continues. It's been very useful in all of our events. People really seem to appreciate the resources that we put out there, and we really like to make it for y'all as well. So.
Well, thank you so much. So now I'd like to call up Shahryar, who's going to be talking about storytelling to engage elected officials. So thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shahryar Baig. I am here legislative assistant in our Office of Government Relations. I was hoping to see if I could take this moment of time in our meeting or virtual meeting today to bring not a different perspective, but an additional perspective that has to do a lot with involving elected officials. And these are elected officials who are going to be at all different levels of governance. We hear about, news recently. We hear about for elected officials, people with big bully pulpits, and they can get on 6 p.m., 6:30 news and all of that. But I think most of us happen to know our local elected officials, frankly, a lot better. In fact, some of them, you might know them even personally yourselves. And so we'd like to introduce this element of seeing if they might be able to either themselves participate in an activity or at least amplify and share themselves. If we can move to the next slide. The reason we ask for amplification, I think this was a point that Evan had brought up as well, is it actually increases, you will see it's causation and correlation, but you will often see a lot of participation uptake when you know that there is an event that might actually be where an event or an project of service might be joined by an elected official, or in some cases, it may actually even be hosted by one. And we know that a lot of folks happen to have a great interest in doing so, especially if they are able to make the time to be able to do it. MLK Day this year, or the upcoming, excuse me, will take place on January 20th, which is going to be a Monday. And so it happens to also fall on the day of inauguration. I know that where I am, actually speaking to you from Maryland at present, that a lot of our activities here in PG County and Montgomery County, that they actually have scheduled for sometimes the weekend or even the weekdays before. People have activities and days already blocked off, starting on, in some cases, even on January 12th, to be able to do that, to try to get as much participation as possible. And I think that that goes with the sort of the outline that Evan laid out, to try to be able to reach out to folks and to get the best turnout possible. In this way here, we know that there's always an interest. I think it's just about trying to get it in front of elected officials at all levels of governance. You can just don't let anybody's title or honorific stop you. We've had, I was going to point to the examples that we've had even recently. Colorado Governor Jared Polis, he came out, he took time out of his day and came to convention center to be able to join members to volunteer. We had Cincinnati Mayor Aftab Purwal actually himself also come out, speak to volunteers, and then join volunteers themselves in a previous day of service event. We hope that a lot of these, we know that a lot of officials believe in national service, and certainly on MLK Day of service understand what the resonance is, both historically and the impact in the community, not just on the in single day, but throughout the whole of the year. And so it's a great opportunity, one, to be able to inform them to say, we're doing something great in our community, and we would love you to be part of it if they're not already part of something themselves, either leading it or they've already made an obligation. And you can extend an invitation. There's no harm in doing that. In fact, a lot of elected officials love to receive those. And if they know that there's going to be an event and a time and a place and that you brought people together, I guarantee you that they will take the opportunity to not only laud you for your efforts, but they will promote it and you will get more turnout. And that will be before the event. And to Evan's point, if a person could not make it in the upcoming date, they will do it in the following year, or they'll find other opportunities at a date in the year in between. So it's a great way to be able to get increased participation and to get support and to know and understand why there is going to be such a great need and what the impact is. So it's a great way to be able to do so, and we're happy to be helpful in that effort. Would I be able to see the next slide, please? A lot of times elected officials will ask for a lot of information. If you go to, I know that if I go to my local council member's website or city council website, a lot of times they'll have forms that are online and available. Sometimes they're simple as a Google form. Sometimes they'll be a little bit more like a web form or otherwise, but you're able to either complete a form to say, I have an event, we have a location, we have a general time, start and finish, and we like to extend an invitation to the elected official to join. And a lot of the times, the information that you're able to share with them gets processed, or you'll get immediate response to say, you know what, we would like to hear more about this event from you because what you've shared with us sounds very interesting. So a few of the items of information we've put out here, and I think was also asked by a viewer earlier, hopefully for recalling during replay, are some of the pieces of information sometimes that they will ask of you if you want to share with them an invitation to your day of service event. Obviously the date, because some days are not always going to be on the 20th. Some places I know where I am that I have days of service events that are actually taking place on 18 and 19 on the Saturday and the Sunday day. You can share about the venue, what your goals are, what your activity is, whether or not there would be any press or media, whether or not there would be any opportunity to speak to folks. And that can go from standing behind a rostrum with a microphone to just saying, everybody, let's huddle up. And it can be all in between. And it's a great way to be able to put that information before the people who are going to be able to make decisions to say, you know what, here we are, 1.5 months away from this event here. This sounds like a great event. We would love to confirm with you. And that's kind of our hope. That's where we hope to be a partner and of assistance. So we are always here to be a resource. I think earlier, if folks could remember, Evan had shown the list of contacts that's in the social media kit. Our email is the one that's listed, I think, towards the bottom of that list, government relations, one word, at AmeriCorps.gov. And again, we are always here to be a resource, and we thank you so much for your initiative and your interest, and we look forward to seeing a lot of those stories shared with us. And I think that should return to Emily.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate your information. So this is our final in a series of webinars that AmeriCorps has held around MLK Day service. The other two that we previously held were recorded and also are currently posted to our website were around project ideas and some tips and examples. So I want to run through some of the information that were shared previously on the other calls. Thanks, Jeff. So you can find all of our information, including the call recordings, at the link that was just shared in the chat. And there's a lot of really great ideas. Some of them are take more time in planning and are larger projects. Some of them are off-the-shelf ideas. We don't want this to be overwhelming. So there are a lot of things that you can do or probably already doing that would count as an MLK Day of Service project. So some of the things to think about that you may already be doing is train your volunteers. use this opportunity to train your volunteers. That can help with some of your long-term strategy. It could also help turn some of those episodic volunteers into ongoing volunteers. It also helps volunteers understand the needs of their communities. So it does not have to be a huge event, but use this as an opportunity to bring two people together and talk about the needs of your community. Definitely fit in line with the Day of Service project. Also, help your neighbors. You know your community better than a lot of people. So what are the needs in your community? A lot of your neighbors need help in a variety of ways. You could hold a warm coat drive through onewarmcoat.org. They have a lot of resources on the website that will help you facilitate a winter coat drive. Address some food insecurity in your neighborhood as we're getting into the winter season. You could organize a food drive. We have information on our website about that. All of these things really are about thinking about what are the needs of your community. Is there ways that you can help them help your community through disaster response? Support academic success. You know, this is getting into the winter season. People are being left active. Generally, there's less volunteers. What are the organizations that are in your community need? Next slide, please. There's a few more resources that we're pointing people to that are also filling needs. So if you are unable to leave your house, there are virtual opportunities that you can volunteer for as part of this Day of Service. The Smithsonian and the National Archives are always needing people to help transcribe documents, which I think is a really interesting thing to do, especially on this Day of Service. And ready.gov also has a lot of information on how you can help yourself be more prepared with disasters and help your neighbors. So they have checklists of things that you should be keeping on hand that you can share with other people to promote this to share the information and promote it, but also you yourself help yourself get more prepared for a disaster. Next slide, please. And things to keep in mind as you are either planning a project or wanting to get involved in a project. And the things I think that all three of us have talked about is we're really looking for ways to meet a community need. There are lots of needs in the community. Again, it doesn't have to be some huge, overwhelming project, but really looking around what do your neighbors need, what are your communities, and how can you help with that? You know, partnerships are really great, and this is a great time to form partnerships. If you're at a nonprofit, partner with other organizations in a nearby community to also expand your impact. And you know, one of the things that we're really calling out is if you are hosting a larger event that is utilizing groups of volunteers, to know why this project is important, to add that reflection component. Again, this doesn't have to be some, you know, huge ceremony or event to be considered reflection. There are examples that are also on the AmeriCorps website that talk about use this opportunity to have cards. If you're doing like some sort of meal packing or some sort of kit packing, is there cards at table that will spark conversation to one, let people get to know each other, get to know your neighbors, but also talk about in general, why is this day important to you? Why are you here? Why did you want to come out and serve? Those are all reflection activities. So it doesn't have to be something that's huge. Be clear if you are hosting an event, if this is a family-friendly event or if there are skills that are needed. We are seeing a lot of projects on MLK Day that are family-friendly. You don't need to, you know, have that opportunity. For example, if you work for a housing organization, that's not going to fit with a 5-year-old. But there are a lot of different projects that you can do with kids. So when you are promoting your opportunity, to make sure it's clear whether or not what the skills that are needed, but also if it is a family-friendly event. And the last thing to make people aware of, if you are not already aware of, is Inauguration Day falls on MLK Day this year. So this may or may not affect your project. Here in the Washington, D.C. area, a lot of organizations are going to be hosting their project the Saturday before or the weekend after just because of the road closures. So again, wanted to call that out for people to be considered to see if it's going to determine and affect your service project. And then finally, register your project so others can be inspired to serve. If you are hosting a project that's looking to volunteers, you know, you probably have a volunteer platform that you're usually like idealist or volunteer match, we do ask that you use hashtag MLK Day in the title to make it easily searchable. Everyone was talking about things get buried very easily in the lots of opportunities that are out there, and people are specifically looking for volunteer opportunities on or around MLK Day. So make sure that you're putting hashtag MLK Day in the title of your volunteer opportunity so people know that it is attached to MLK Day. Next slide, please. The first two webinars that we have already, that we held over the previous 2 weeks are posted on our website already. The first one is general project ideas from a series of community-based organizations talking about what they're doing for MLK Day, as well as some tips, some things that they've experienced over the years. The second call is highlighting some of our federal partners to talk about project ideas from our federal partners perspective. We had a representative from the EPA walking through a wide variety of checklists and resources that they have to make things more environmentally friendly. And then we had representatives from the Serve DC Volunteer Commission talking about some disaster preparedness and safety trainings that are available, as well as a representative from the VA Cemetery Project talking about volunteers that are needed to clean up and help identify veteran stones in private cemeteries. So there's a wealth of information on AmeriCorps.gov/MLK Day, including some off-the-shelf project ideas, as well as a recording from our previous website. So now we have some time if there are any questions. We do not currently have any questions in the Q&A function, but you can feel free to raise your hand or to type it in the chat. Well, not seeing any questions, but a reminder of our website as well as our email address, mlkday@americorps.gov. If you have any questions, Evan and Shara also shared their email addresses for a variety of people if you would like support on communications or marketing and or government relations. I want to, on behalf of my colleagues, thank you all for your interest in MLK Day of Service. It is such a great opportunity to bring people together to meet the needs of our communities. And we're excited to see and hear about what you're doing. So thank you so much for your time today.